Welcome to the Killing Podcast, Season 2, Episode 3, Numb.
Numb, 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 numb. Ha!
Nice. Have you been holding on to that one?
No, I did it when we tried to record this one of the 800 other times.
Okay, we've only tried, this is our third time.
This is our third attempt at this.
But that was not our fault. It was because the
Are you a podcast apologist now?
Uh-huh. Because it didn't record.
Right. So this is our third time going through this intro, so if we seem a little punchy about it, there's a reason.
If it doesn't work this time, I am going to punch you. There's going to be something punchy.
Well,
I believe all 3 times were your fault.
I would like to introduce myself.
Were all 3 times your fault?
No. This is the third time. How is this my fault? Introduce yourself.
I'm your host, Martha Southgate.
And I am Rob Southgate. And I'm great.
Awesome. Is it recording?
It is recording.
Just keep making sure, please.
I will.
Because if I have to do this intro anymore...
So Mitch...
Oh, Mitch. And then we got to start out with... I have had to talk about Mitch.
That's what's hard about this. The 2 storylines that neither one of us really care for are Mitch and Darren.
Yeah.
Those 2 storylines are not our favorites.
Don't get us wrong here on that. We like the stand. We like everything else in the Mitch storyline. We're just not happy with Mitch at the moment.
Right. So having to go over it again and again is making this a little hard to deal with.
So we're going to talk about Mitch.
It's making me a little numb, to tell you the truth. Thank you.
Well, numb would be good.
Got the name of the show.
No, we're ready. We're ready to...
So Mitch is driving.
Yes.
She's rocking out.
She's smoking. And she's got a picture of her and Stan and Rosie on the passenger seat.
Right, not the other kids.
Okay, now this is going to tell the audience why I am a little over Mitch at the moment.
You're a little over Mitched?
I am much over Mitch. Okay. And she is I get grief. I get that she's grieving.
Right.
I know grief. All right, I got it.
Okay.
But I don't... The fact that she is being so selfish and self-centered and ignoring her other children, and you want to leave Stan...
It's like if she went in shutdown mode and she locked herself in a room, which she did, and she ignores her kids, that's one thing. But to leave, not acknowledge the kids, act like they don't even exist, and just go off...
She doesn't have their picture on the seat, and they're still alive. Are you... So you're just going to throw them all away.
Right, you're going to reject those 2.
Because there was this horrible thing. You know, so I'm having a little trouble with Mitch at the moment. I understand on some level, but I really don't understand.
I am
on
with
most
you.
Of it.
I am with you on this.
So she passes up a female hitchhiker who reminds her of Rosie.
Right. Well, she's got the curly dark hair, and she is kind of that age, and yeah, of course. I mean, the first thing I thought of was Rosie. Mm-hmm. So she passes her, then she goes to this no-tell motel. Yeah. And we see her just kind of unpacking.
And she's got a box with flower paper on it, not wallpaper. She's got a box with...
She's unboxing. She's going to wallpaper the place.
I should be better at this if we've done this 3 times.
Know.
This is embarrassing.
Although, you know what's funny? What we've learned here is we don't say the same thing every time. Right. This is 3 times, and we've had completely different conversations.
We have, and we've had very different, and I'm being much kinder about Mitch.
I like to think this is the best of the 3, but I make no guarantees.
So, we can move on now from Mitch, and jump into Sarah.
Right. Oh, I got one thing to say here. Oh, yeah. It's raining.
It's raining, man.
Now
I have actually done that one all 3 times.
You can't help it.
I can't help it.
No.
Okay.
I think you would do that whether the podcast was on or not. Just saying
I would.
It's
if
raining.
Anyone say, it's raining. Yeah, I got to do it.
Yep.
I'll do it quietly this time.
It's part of your OCD.
It is.
Yeah, you know me. So it's day 16.
I am so
That's
glad
part of my OCD. I am obsessed with that.
I'm glad you pay attention because I have never noticed it once.
I am obsessed with it.
And they said it here?
Yeah, they say it on everyone. And you know what's funny? I now wait for it and write it in big letters and numbers on my page every time.
Why you write the word 16?
No, I write day. I said letters and numbers. 16 is a number.
I know that.
So I write day and then the number 16.
And you had to be that specific about how you...
Apparently.
You couldn't just say...
You just questioned me on it. Of course I had to be.
Well, why didn't you just say, I just write down
day 16?
Do I
need to turn this off for a wrestling match right about now? I think so. So Sarah's at the police station.
She's on the phone.
She's on the phone.
She's looking for a warrant.
Right. And cop... Okay.
Okay, his name is Gary.
Gary, okay, this cop.
Well, wait, after she hangs up the phone, because the warrant isn't coming. So she goes and she goes in to talk to Gary about a tattoo that he pulled off of Rosie's Super 8 video.
Right, it's that
Manga.
Manga. You said it wrong.
Every other time I said it right, and I was bragging on how I said it right.
Well,
because we checked with people.
Now we have a record of you saying it wrong.
Manga.
Right. So we
have to re-record.
No, we don't. So it's that manga character. It's like a face.
Anime.
Yes, and no, it's manga. And
isn't anime the same as manga?
No, it isn't. Manga are the like comic books, and anime are the animated films. So they're really kind of two different things.
So manga is the comic book form?
Yes.
And
there are comic books that are just manga. That's all they are, is these animated or these comic books. And then anime would be like animated films. So it's the difference between comic books and cartoons.
But what if the animated film was made into
It would be there would be a manga and an anime of it.
So they would call it manga no matter what. Right. Anything that's anime is also manga if it's made into a book.
What? I am so confused. You know what?
I'm spinning you.
No matter what we say here, we're probably somewhat wrong. So let's just move ahead.
Okay, so stop pretending like you know manga.
I think I was right. So she hadn't seen this tattoo before. This was her first time seeing it. Mm-hmm. And it was pulled off of that Super 8 film that we saw way back in episode 2. But Holder had seen it reflected in the mirror and had Gary pull it off.
And this is very important because he says, Holder asked me to run it. And she seems surprised.
Right.
And asks if Holder is there. Okay, you want to share why she's surprised?
Well, yeah, because this is kind of, up to now this season, she has been assuming that Holder is a bad guy.
Right. And working against her.
Working against her, right. And this, she's a smart person here. I wasn't going to say cookie. She's a smart person, and she says she's realizing, wait a minute, why would he be continuing with the investigation if he was involved in some kind of conspiracy cover-up? Mm-hmm. So this is her first indication that maybe she's misinterpreting the situation some.
Yes.
And it's really, for us, we've already, in the last episode, we saw how he was betrayed by the other guy, but this is where we're starting to see, okay, they're going to come back together.
We need that. He needs a really big hug.
He needs a big hug.
And I am prepared to give it to him.
Oh, you're hugging.
I will hug it. I will hug it out.
I'll hug it.
I will hug it out with Holder. Because somebody needs to hug that man.
Hashtag hug it out with Holder. That's a really long hashtag for you. I don't think you should go with that.
I don't think I would be willing to type that many letters.
No. Holder hug. You might do that one.
So she asks about the casino client list, and he says Carlson held it up.
Right.
So she goes to confront Carlson, and he tells her, next time, ask me.
Yeah.
So he was not happy that she went over his head.
Yeah, and that's a bunch of garbage, but, that's typical. So he was holding things up, which is ridiculous. We're in the middle of a murder investigation. Right. Everybody needs to be on the same page here and working together.
You would think that getting it solved would be...
This whole police station seems to be infested with some kind of attitude and issue. So the casino, we also find out, is very obviously a hotbed for Beau de Soleil.
It's
okay. I said it wrong every time. Beau Soleil.
It is Beau Soleil, not Bande de Soleil for the Saint-Tropez.
I even was reading it on the paper and got it wrong. Beau Soleil activity. It's a hotbed for that.
I have a feeling it's a hotbed for a lot of things.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff going on down there.
Herpes might be top of the list.
Herpes. I have a feeling that Holder may have gone out there a few times when he was in his junkie days, too. I think that this place, because it's protected territory and it's not a police area, I think all sorts of shenanigans are going on. Now, I don't know if we'll see more about that going forward, other than them being a pain in the butt for a while, but I have a feeling that a lot of bad activity happens as a result of this casino.
Yes.
So if this series went on for 10 years, I think we'd be going back to that casino quite a bit, because that is a bad area.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
So
Holder's at the NA meeting, at the Narcotics Anonymous meeting,
mm-hmm.
and he's outside talking to Claire.
Right.
And
now Claire is
a junkie.
She's a junkie that goes to these meetings. She talks about her kids, so she's a junkie mom.
But she is not
And she's obviously Holder's
on the wagon.
Right.
She's
slipping all over the wagon.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's slipping on the wagon?
She's slipping off.
Can you do that?
I think.
I think you're either on it or you're off it.
She's sliding around.
You can't. Either you're doing drugs still or you're not.
Well, okay, she's off the wagon, but she's trying to get herself back on, or at least making it look like she is.
Yes.
Boy, that was a lot of explanation. Anyway, Holder is talking to her, and he's saying, basically he's checking in on her. You can tell that he's thinking, oh man, I'm in a bad spot here. He tells her that he's going to go in, that he needs the meeting. And basically she gets out and starts to walk in, and he drives off.
Yes. Because
he doesn't want to go into that meeting.
I don't think he's in a place right now for sharing and for...
Right.
And he's just... he's in a very bad place.
He's in need of a forced hug, is what he's in need of.
You think I would force it?
I've been married to you for 20-some years. I think you would force it. Get over here!
Get over here and let me comfort you!
Let me comfort you.
Oh,
I think I've been there.
It's not in a bad way. I just don't want him to. It's so sad.
So sad.
He gives me feels.
He gives you feels.
So, Stan's in the garage.
Okay.
And Terry says she wants to take the boys to the pumpkin farm, but he wants them to go to school. He said
and it's about time that they go back to school. I mean, yeah, it's only been, as we know, 16 days, but he's starting to see a pattern go here.
Well, and everything is out of control right now in their lives. They have no routine.
And he's saying
Mitch
we need
is
to
gone.
Get them back to school, get the routine going. Maybe for a while they'll forget that mom isn't there.
Oh, please.
Well, you never know. I mean, it might help. At least that's what he's thinking. And he says no. And that he's going to handle it.
And Terry's surprised that he wants them to go back to school, but Stan says that he's taking care of it. So they're going to be protected. The guy with, that dropped the backpack or whatever. It's like, we don't have to worry that they're going to be kidnapped or something's going to happen.
That's from that last episode where we saw him talk to Yannick. Mm-hmm. We know that Yannick is somehow protecting these kids now from this backpack person. Or at least that's what we're thinking. Sarah shows up
at the garage,
and starts asking Stan about the tattoo. Mm-hmm. And, justifiably, he wants nothing to do with the police at this point.
Yeah, he's over it.
He's done. He's like, you didn't do your job. I've handled it my way.
Yeah.
Done.
Get out.
He wants nothing to do with it.
He kicks her out.
He mentions the backpack, which she didn't know about at this point. Once again, she found out about the tattoo. She finds out about the backpack. She's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. And why is Holder in the know? And why isn't she? But she won't. Okay, Sarah, you have to answer his phone calls.
Right. But up to now, she thought that he's going to just call and give her a line.
But you still handle it like an adult.
Right. But we also see that she doesn't handle a lot of things that way.
Right. But I'm just saying.
As great as she is as a detective.
Yes.
Her personal
life, and as much as I like her,
is a bit of a train wreck.
Yeah, and so if she had answered a few of his phone calls, she would have known, and this would have. But then we wouldn't have a very interesting show.
No, true. So he kicks her out.
So she leaves and calls for the evidence.
Well, yeah, immediately calls about the backpack,
and they tell her it's been checked out by Holder.
Right. Well, no, do they say that? I thought they just said it was gone.
Nope.
That he checked it out. Oh. Okay. I thought that because I'm so confused.
Well, you should be.
So she knows that he checked it out.
Yeah, they said it was checked out by Holder.
Oh.
I just said Darren because I was reading that.
Okay. Well, I was a little confused.
It had nothing to do with
but
Darren.
I'm usually a little confused. So Darren is laying in bed. Once again, here's a storyline I'm not as enthralled with.
Although it's been better.
Yeah, it's better than I'm going to shoot the basketball and you're going to give me all this money because of one shot, all that stuff. But Darren is laying in bed and he's looking at his legs. And the sun is kind of coming in and...
It's not just kind of coming in.
Well, it's on his legs,
but
it's
actually coming in the window.
He tells the doctor, there's a doctor there, and he tells him that he felt the sun on his legs.
Yeah, he said, I can feel the warm sun on my legs.
And the doctor doesn't care. Now, the reason the doctor doesn't care, you could say it's because all the doctors we've seen here dealing with Darren are completely insensitive jerks, or it could be that, which his bedside manner is bad like all the others, but it's really just he knows he doesn't feel it. So he's just like, he's not going to get into the psychological aspect of it with him. He just says, he just doesn't. He just doesn't even acknowledge it. So,
because he just wants to feel it.
Right.
And a lot of times people also, as you know, having lost a finger, with the phantom pain.
A finger.
Sometimes people will often feel phantom sensations and things that they're not actually feeling them. It's just a memory, a body memory or something.
So he may be having that. He's thinking that he feels something on his legs, or he just wants to. He just wants to.
He does.
Yeah.
So Holder shows up near his nephew's school. Okay, this scene ripped my heart out.
Yeah, this was tough.
This is not. Okay. Wait, we can do this though.
So
we can talk about
his
Holder.
Nephew won't get in the car.
Well, he says he's not allowed.
He said he's not allowed. And, I mean, I wrote on here, it hurts. You can see Holder is pained. And the kid is actually pained.
Yeah, it hurts both of them, because he doesn't want to have to tell him that.
And the kid says, "Are you mad at me?" Yeah. Oh! And, of course, Holder responds, "Never." Because he's not. He knows. Yeah. He knows he screwed up. He knows that his sister isn't wrong for her actions. Mm-hmm. But he just wants it to be another way, especially now where, as you like to say, he needs a hug.
Yes.
I think if this kid got in the car and gave him, a little, like family attention, it would help.
Yeah, but
he's not even getting that.
No.
So now in his head, he's like, all that junkie stuff is back. Yeah. I'm a dirty cop.
Right.
My partner, who I respect, hates me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And he's lost his sponsor. I mean, he's really...
Oh, he lost his sponsor, too, right.
Yeah, he has really...
And he's back to hanging out with Claire, which, that can't be a feel-good.
And just the betrayal from his sponsor.
She's a junkie mom's, just so you know.
But, yeah, really just gut-wrenching. Just a really, 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 really hard scene.
Yeah.
And so there's Terry, is walking the kids up to school, and there's a guy watching them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's obvious. This is one of Yannick's guys.
Oh, it's not
connected. Like, there's some creep, like, it's the
like
backpack
big
guy.
Muscle.
Right. It's like that scene in Goodfellas when Jimmy's telling her to just go in that door down there. You'll be fine. Just go in that door. And she clearly isn't going to go in the door because she can see the guys hanging out there are muscle. It's that same thing where you're like, you guys aren't very subtle about what you are. This guy is trouble, and we see that. Where are we?
Sarah goes to Oaks and asks for the evidence, and he says he doesn't have it.
Oh, right. Oh, I got confused
and
there.
And then he says to her,
I'm thinking about Goodfellas. That's why.
I know. You got to
I am.
Half this job is about doing what you're told, and he says, "I need my pension," and then he gives her the bag because, of course, he did have have it, but he didn't have the.
So Sarah gets the backpack, and she checks it, and this was, okay, we saw Holder with the backpack in his trunk, and we knew kind of what was going on, but now it is super obvious. Now it is very clear. In it is not what we saw in the backpack before. Right. Before we saw her, like, underwear and that Super 8 camera. Here, it's a shoe, a book, and a sweater. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if it's a cute sweater, but Holder or Lyndon might want to check it out and see if maybe, she can improve the sweater situation. Maybe that was Holder's subtle way of telling her, like, yeah, you need to change sweaters.
Yeah.
So
hers are very industrial.
She's looking at this, and it's it's very confusing. Industrial sweaters. It's very confusing. Okay, back to Darren. So Jamie comes into Darren's room
with flowers. Who brings a freaking grown man?
I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go back to, I've said this before.
Because we've recorded this scene before.
but I've said it before here, and it just hit me again, so I'm going to repeat it. But in my real life, I think the same thing. When I see you bring guys flowers in the hospital, get them something else. Get them a bouquet of action figures. Get them a cookie bouquet.
Did you say bouquet at first?
Probably.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I said that before too.
Bouquet.
Bouquet.
A bouquet.
I can't get
Maybe just don't say those
bouquet.
Words.
Are those all French?
Don't use beau in a sentence.
Beau and Luke Duke, I can say
Boo
that.
Or beau. Okay.
Boo Radley, Beau and Luke Duke. I can say those.
Barely. You barely said that.
Did I stop?
So
he wants him to take the morphine.
What would you like?
Which is something I should take. Yeah.
Yes, you should.
I told you
you would like chocolate.
No, a bouquet of action figures would be awesome.
Bouquet. My head.
A bouquet of... I thought I was saying it right. It's Beausoleil bouquet. Am I right?
You have got me so thrown off.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what I would like.
Now I'm all thrown off.
I like chocolate.
I no longer know how to say the word properly.
I like chocolate. Chocolate's good, but I wouldn't want to hurt you because you can't have chocolate. So,
but I don't understand. Okay, so he brings him flowers. You don't bring me flowers.
I knew that was coming.
I can't help it when someone says flowers. Okay.
Right.
And then they're flipping through the TV channels, and Darren wants to see the mayor's press conference.
Right. And Jamie's like, no, Beverly Hillbillies on. Let's watch that. It's not
Jamie, no.
That would be me. Is Green Acres on? I could marathon that stuff out.
You'd be eating whatever
I'd be eating
people brought, or whatever this food they give him.
Flipping through for Green Acres. I'd be so happy.
So Darren's trying to get...
I'd be putting it on his legs like, you don't feel it anyway. What do you care?
You're so evil.
Right.
Darren is supposed to have an appointment with the neurologist. So he's waiting for the neurologist to get there, and he's trying to go without painkillers until he comes because he wants to be real lucid. He doesn't want anything to interfere with his test results. He wants
when he gets poked in the leg to feel it.
And so he refuses. So he's in some agony here.
Right.
So, okay, now...
And Jamie wants him to take this morphine.
You go ahead and take this Mitch scene.
Okay. So Mitch... Yeah, this is the worst.
Yeah, you go for it.
Mitch is at the hotel, motel, bar, whatever it is. It must be
It's a motel.
It's a motel, but it's a little bit more upscale because it has a bar and a restaurant in it.
But it's
and it has a pool. But it's still like one of these... Maybe it's like an extended stay motel. Something like that. But it's a dive. Someplace Mulder and Scully would have stayed. Yeah. So Mitch is having a drink there, which we know is going to lead to trouble. And on the jukebox it's playing Right On Down the Line. So she's rocking out still. And Terry calls her.
Well, no, there's a guy watching her.
I don't remember the guy watching her. I know what happens with the guy, but...
Yeah, he was sitting there watching her. Then Terry called.
Terry calls, and Mitch doesn't answer.
Yeah, because she doesn't give a crap about her children, and this is really just making me irate.
Exactly.
I mean, if you don't want to talk to Terry, I get that, but you at least say, look, I'm not ready to have any conversation with you yet, but just tell me how the boys are.
Right, but that's not happening.
Or something, but nothing, no.
So Terry is clearly upset with Mitch, and she complains to Stan. Okay, so we're out of the hotel bar. We're back at Stan's place. She's complaining to Stan. And Stan says, the boys will be okay. And Terry says, no, they won't. Mm-hmm. I won't do this to them, because it's not cool.
And he says...
And I'm glad somebody's saying it.
Right.
Because nobody is confronting things. Nobody is saying things outright to each other.
And he tells Terry to just take a few days off. And you know what? She didn't sign up for this family. A role of aunt is very different than the role of mother.
Right.
And sometimes we're only called to be the aunt.
Right.
And then just have to step in and take on that role.
If she takes these days off, that's all these boys are clinging to right now because Stan has shut down on him before, although he's come back. But he's busy. He's doing stuff. And he's not out of the woods with this whole, beating up the teacher thing. Mm-hmm. And, so this is a volatile situation. And he's telling her to take some days off. I mean, I get it.
But no,
she can't.
She's the only one holding it together. And that is frightening.
Certainly her parents.
Because the fact that Terry is the one holding things together, she is a train wreck.
Right.
So, yes, but she is the only one that's even remotely functioning at this point.
That's why she said, I won't do that to them. I had my notes mixed up there, but that's what she was saying.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, the boys will be fine.
No,
it's like, no, they're not.
They're not fine.
Okay.
So Sarah's watching the Super 8 video.
Yes.
We finally get to talk about things we haven't talked about yet.
This is the first time.
So Sarah's watching the Super 8 video, and she calls Holder.
She calls him, finally.
Finally. And she tells him that she knows about the evidence and that she gets it.
Right. She doesn't lay it all out there, but all she has to say is, I know about the backpack. And that will be his indicator that, she is on to this now, which is great. It's not a negative. It's a good thing. But he doesn't pick up, does he? He doesn't know that knows this. I think she just leaves him a message because of what happens later in the episode. he doesn't know that she's on his side now or coming to his side.
Well, we have to. I don't remember, so we'll talk it out.
I'm positive that she just left that message.
I just didn't have it as a message. I said she calls Holder and tells him that she knows about the evidence and she gets it.
Yeah, but we know what happens later, and there's no way, because what happens later is the first time that they communicate.
Okay. So somebody torched the Beausoleil place.
Oh, right, yeah.
The servers are gone.
One of the cops shows up and tells her that the place was burned.
Only the shoes are left, so there was no evidence that was ever there.
Yeah, all the computer stuff is gone.
She sees all the cameras and has Duncan. Now we have another cop guy, Duncan.
Right.
She has him check.
Which is such a great name for a cop, because of Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, funny. Didn't think of that one.
One should be named Winchell's, one should be named Spunky Dunker, and one should be named Duncan.
So she has him check them all within a 4-block radius, and he is not happy.
Yeah, no, because it's a pain.
Yeah,
but she is so smart, because, that's something that we see it play out when things happen. Like if you watch that show, The First 48, that's one of the things they do is they start looking for where would there be cameras. She immediately looks up and sees that.
Yes.
And she's like, she knows she's got a very limited amount of time to get that footage, because a lot of places it just recycles. It doesn't keep it. So if there's an incident, they don't keep tapes and tapes and tapes and stuff.
Well,
this would have been within the last 24 hours.
Oh yeah, duh.
Oh yeah, duh.
Never mind. I spaced out there for a second.
Right. What a shocker. So yeah, this is really smart.
Yes.
Hopefully she's going to find something here.
So Stan picks up the kids at school, and Denny has pastries.
He has a Polish pastry.
They're from your friend, the big guy.
Right. He says it's a Polish pastry. He's like, where'd you get it? Your friend, the big guy.
Stan, oh man.
Yeah. Stan has the Tony Soprano moment.
He goes to Yannick.
I'm going to go deal with this.
To tell him to leave his kids alone. Hey, Yannick, leave those kids alone.
It's unbelievable.
I can't help it.
There are certain songs.
Certain things that trigger me.
You just can't. Oh, there's a lot of things that trigger you.
Oh, yeah. But so he goes to Yannick. So now he has asked Yannick for help. And then when Yannick gives him the help, he says, leave us alone.
Yeah, but Yannick is not giving the help Stan wanted.
It doesn't matter. You don't go to somebody like that and expect to call all the shots.
In the words of you, duh.
That's what you get.
That's what you get.
Those are my words. Yes. That's what you get, Stan.
And duh.
When you deal with Yannick. Duh. So Holder's at a trailer park.
Wait.
Do you have things to say?
Yeah, because Yannick also tells him about Beausoleil. Or no, Stan tells Yannick about Beausoleil at this point.
Okay.
And Yannick says he'll look into it.
Oh, right. We know what that means.
Right. But he's like, no, I knew nothing about this, and I'll look into this whole thing. But yeah, he says, that's not us. We're not involved in this. I'll look into it. So...
Now are we at the trailer park?
Yes, now we're at the trailer park.
Holder is really hitting rock bottom here.
Yes.
He's at a trailer park, and he's about to fall off the wagon. Yeah, it appears.
Well, he's at the trailer of his former drug dealer, Tyler.
Yeah.
And Tyler is a piece of work. And doesn't he live with his mom? It's like, the whole thing is
There are lots of people that live with their mothers.
There are people that live with their mothers, but I mean it's
stereotypical.
Like,
but this
guy is drugged out.
It's a mess.
They're living in a trailer. The mom.
Yeah. It's kind of like Belko and his mom.
Only they were the upscale.
Yeah. They were the Jeffersons. They got to move on up. But these people are more.
Was his mom Wheezy? They moved to the deluxe apartment.
Then Belko was Lionel.
He'd be Lionel. Well, who'd be Mr. Jefferson?
That
would be if Mr. Jefferson died and Lionel and Wheezy had to live together. They would be Belko and his mom.
I almost said, what you talking about? But that's not Mr. Jefferson.
No, that's Mr. Drummond.
No, it's the kid.
That's Arnold Drummond.
Arnold. Oh gosh, my head is spinning. Okay, so Holder's at a trailer park, and he's.
I think we said that.
I wrote he's about to fall off the wagon. Nope. Holder beats him up. That's what I wrote.
Plus, the guy starts smoking up his drugs right there in front of him, and he's like, "Hey, what do you want?" He's trying to tempt him, and Holder smacks it out of his hand and then
beats him up. Because he should clearly be a sponsor. Because he's got such good technique.
Right. And the mom comes in, what are you doing? And he hits her, like he pushes her.
And then steals
some drugs.
Yeah, I said he steals a bag on his way out.
So. Right. So it's clearly drugs. It's clearly a little baggie of something.
So there's something. He's really on the fence at this point.
Yeah, he's debating whether he should fall back.
Just give it all up. Like, what's the point? Or, so...
So, yeah, that's where we're at.
So now...
but he has ruined his relationship with his drug dealer because this does not...
It's not going to bode well.
It's not good feels with the drug dealer at this point.
So Darren cannot... Speaking of feels, Darren cannot feel anything in his legs.
Yeah.
He thinks he can, but he feels nothing. He felt nothing when...
Well, right, because the doctor does one of those things where he's sitting there, he's like, oh, I felt that, and it's not even close.
Yeah. He wasn't even touching him. Yeah, he Darren, and poor Darren.
Yeah.
He wants a suit because he thinks he's leaving to go run his campaign soon. I mean, he's just really in denial.
Right. And he wants to go to this fundraiser. Yeah. And this is kind of a tough scene to watch.
It is. And I actually have not minded this.
It was some of the garbage in his storyline before that we didn't care for.
But this is good. I don't mind this.
This is good. It's fine that it's here. I wouldn't choose to watch the Darren Richmond show.
No.
But I certainly am more interested in what's happening with him than I am with Mitch.
Yes.
So I need Mitch to buck up and get back to her family is what I need.
Yeah.
So Gwen is at headquarters and she's packing her stuff up.
And she sees her dad.
So she's getting out of town. She's had her run-in with Jamie. She's not going to Darren. She's done. And she sees her dad.
And she tells him she wants to leave Darren's campaign. She wants to go to D.C.
Right. And this was the conversation. This goes back to that conversation she had with her dad way back where he was talking about this senator in D.C. and how he would take her in a heartbeat and you should stop messing around with this Richmond guy. He's go
work on a real campaign, work.
And she says, I'll do this. So he calls Senator Faraday right there in front of her.
We've got Faraday on X-Files.
And Daniel Faraday from
Lost. So lots of Faradays in our world.
Yes.
In our TV world.
Yes.
I've never met one in real life.
I loved
Faraday
on Lost. I loved that character. I thought that was a great character. I loved all the characters on Lost for the most part. Remember that one episode that was the worst? It was the only episode that's really bad about the two that were the jewel thieves or whatever that were on the plane.
That was really bad.
That was the worst episode.
Okay, focus, because you have to talk about Mitch here.
Oh, my gosh, that was so bad.
And I'm not talking about it.
Okay, I'm going to get it back. I want to talk about Lost. I just want to sit and talk about Lost. So Mitch is in a room, and she's with some sales guy.
The same guy that was watching
her, right. And she calls herself Anna.
Oh, she just makes me want to punch her in the face.
Yes. And the guy is kissing her, and she's not kissing back.
Yeah.
There's at least something there.
She's acting upset and disinterested.
Right. And
so he says
she's
he'll
acting
leave.
out. She's doing this. Yeah. And then she starts kissing him because she wants the comfort or whatever.
Well, she says, I want you to stay.
Yeah. That's okay. Let's just get past that.
So tired of her 8th grade drama.
Right. So.
Okay.
Holder.
Oh.
Is in his car, and he's holding those drugs and looking at them.
He's outside of the NA meeting.
Right.
The Narcotics Anonymous meeting.
And he shoves the drugs in his glove compartment.
That's not going to end well.
No. Well, think about it. He puts those drugs in his glove compartment. If he doesn't get those out, right away...
Isn't that the first place they look?
Yeah. So if somebody goes through this car, I don't know, that's probably a police vehicle. He's going to take it back to the lot, and they go over it. They're going to find drugs in his car. He's not on the narcotics unit anymore. He's got to explain it then. This is bad, if that comes to be. It may not.
I hope it doesn't.
I hope so, too.
I hope he gets rid of them.
I hope he just gets rid of them. Right. Give him to what's her name? Claire. She'll be happy. It's like a little Christmas present.
I don't think that's a good idea. Sarah and Jack are driving, and he tells Sarah she shouldn't be talking on the phone while she's driving.
Right.
And Jack asked if everything was okay with Holder.
Right.
And
she kind of avoids it.
Of course, because no one ever has any communication skills.
Right. Jack's trying.
He sees the manga tattoo.
Oh, and he recognizes it.
From a book that she gave him for his birthday.
Yes, it's like Onjungi or something, he says. We'll know it in the next episode because that's the name of the next episode. But he says that oh yeah, that's this. And he starts telling the story a little bit. He's like, you bought that for me. And it's really cool. I didn't really catch what the story was at this point. I don't know if it's pertinent. It's probably not. Other than it's
the book?
Yeah. Like if it gives us a little insight into the guy who got it tattooed on his arm, it may tell you something, but I didn't really catch what the story was.
I don't think he talked about it.
He did. He did. He told a little. Well, see, it was quick, but he did tell what the story was. And it might give you a little insight into this guy that has the tattoo. But it's not something that it didn't hit my radar because I was just watching everything else at that point. Okay, so back to Darren.
Darren and the flirty nurse.
Flirty nurse.
And
flirty nurse.
She tells
She has
him,
the dark hair and everything. It's just what Darren likes. And she is being kind of flirty with him.
And he's cute, and all that. So
and he's flirting back.
Powerful and cute. So she tells him that she voted for him. And then she's changing his catheter, and he couldn't feel it. And he goes into just a horrible depression because he realizes she's just flirting with me.
Yeah.
Out of pity or something. Like, he's thinking...
Or I can't...
I'll never be able to feel that again. I don't know. Oh, it's awful.
Terrible.
So that's not a
But
good
the guy
scene
in Monkey Shines had a girlfriend, and he had no feeling from his waist down.
You can still do it, but you just can't feel it.
Yeah.
So I think he was just mourning that he
Do you think he'll get a monkey? Like in Monkey Shines? Oh my gosh, that would be awesome! One of those trained monkeys, remember? He killed people in Monkey Shines, but
he
that would
can
be
move
awesome.
his arms and stuff. Why would he need it?
Because, the guy, I don't know. I'm thinking about getting a monkey, and I don't need...
You're not getting a freaking monkey.
I'm thinking it might be... You want a dog, I want a monkey. We're at a stalemate.
We'll get a donkey.
Oh, I'm a bit of a donkey already, aren't I?
No comment. Holder and Claire are getting it on. And she asks if he's got any drugs. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have anything to say
No,
on
I just had to do that little sound effect.
They were in a car?
What?
Getting it on in a car?
I called her Junkie Mom here.
Moms.
And moms? I called her Junkie Moms.
You've said that about 100 times already.
And she asked
It's not shocking.
She asked him if he has drugs. And no, I'm not being shocking. It's what he says. And
he calls her Junkie Moms?
No, I did. But he says moms. Oh, my head is starting to spin.
Stop. Okay.
And he doesn't, I don't know, maybe he gives them to her there or whatever, but we don't see anything. She just asks him, and he looks very much like, this is a bad situation. He doesn't look happy that he's in this situation.
No, he shouldn't be.
No, he realizes this is not where I want to be.
Right.
Sarah is now back at their hotel room, and she's got
looking at the manga.
She's got the manga, and she's looking through the book and just trying to see if she gets any clues out of this. Now, we've got a whole bunch of quick little scenes here, but this isn't the part of this episode where it gets all fast or anything yet. We're not quite there yet.
Stan is in the garage looking at a picture of the family.
Right.
And Yannick tells him how
they looked into
Rosie died.
Oh, right. He tells him how Rosie died, but he also tells him they looked into Beausoleil. And I'm getting it right now, by the way.
But it's heinous.
And that it's only Russians. So we're Polish. We have nothing to do with this. Rosie was not involved. She's not Russian. There's no way.
He says Stan should kill whoever did this to Rosie.
And he tells her how she was alive in the trunk.
But his play is heinous.
It's horrible.
This man is just pure evil.
Yeah.
This Yannick. He is just
he's terrible.
Horrible, horrible person.
He's terrible. And he's trying to show him, look, the police are not your friends. They didn't tell you these things. You need to know she was alive in that trunk. You need to do something about this, Stan. So here's Yannick telling him to do something.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. Yep, you like how I played that?
I did. So Ray called Sarah about the footage from those cameras.
Right.
And they find out it's someone in Stan's truck with the manga tattoo.
Because you see the logo on the truck. Now she knows that. I mean,
my gosh.
Now, okay, let's go back to that for a second. I think that, you remember that scene when Mitch came in and the guys were talking and they hushed up and I can't think of his name now. Bilko. Hushes, is like, oh no, these are, she goes, I don't know who these guys are. And he's like, oh, they're just some guys.
Yeah.
I think it was these guys.
Yes, it was.
I think it was Yannick's guys that were using Stan's trucks. Now, I don't know if Stan is aware of what was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a deal that Belko had with him, or it might be that this was something like Stan let them use the trucks occasionally
to get extra money.
Or something. But I think that was the deal that Stan made with Yannick way back. I don't, when we first, not way back, 14 days ago when we saw him go to
way back.
Well, way back in the series when we saw him go to Yannick and he was talking about that house and how he needed money.
I just want to sing Wilco.
I think that was
the way back in the
I think that was the deal. Was he was letting him use the trucks, and that's why they were there at his garage.
Yes.
So okay.
So Claire is calling Sarah on the other line about Holder. He's acting crazy. And Sarah goes and finds him, and he's standing in traffic, and she convinces him to come to her.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh!
It's totally, like...
agony.
It's a Wonderful Life. He's standing on the bridge, and Clarence is...
Holder.
Sarah's Clarence, and she shows up.
But if she had just talked to him...
Yes. So I think he was... See, I don't know if he was committing suicide, or if he was
just having a meltdown. Breakdown, yeah.
But it was very reminiscent to me of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Right there.
Okay, I cannot...
You know what? Hee-haw didn't show up and give him money. Claire was the last thing you saw.
Claire saves him. Okay,
but it's Sarah's the one that saves him.
I can't verbalize this next sentence about Darren, what Darren does, because it is so horrifying to me.
Darren, looking at his legs... decides he's going to test this, and he takes a pin from one of his campaign pins.
He takes a campaign button.
Well, yeah, it's the pin off of his campaign button, and he jams it into his leg to see if he feels something.
I don't know if that's what he was doing. I think he was just very angry.
No, I think it was both.
Oh, dear God. No.
I think it was both. I don't think it was... It wasn't a subtle, like, I'm going to slide it in, but it was like, he jammed it in like, I'm going to feel this. Bam! He feels nothing. Awful.
Well, he feels awful.
He feels awful.
He feels something.
Yeah.
He feels depressed and angry and it's not good.
Not good.
So Mitch sees the hitchhiker girl outside her window.
She's at the pool, that sweet looking pool at the Notel.
So now we're in the fast. Okay, so she's looking out the window. There's the girl.
Yeah.
The Beausoleil servers are in Yannick's office.
Right.
So Mr. We don't know anything about it.
We don't know anything about it. It's only the Russians. Yeah, not so much. He's involved there. He was involved in torching it, obviously, but he's also involved in Beausoleil.
Stan is in the garage, and the tattooed guy is getting in one of his trucks.
Oh.
Right there.
But Stan knows nothing about this. I mean, he knows who the guy is, obviously, but he knows nothing about him being tied into this somehow.
And then Sarah and Holder look at the evidence.
Yes.
End.
Well, they're getting the backpack out of Holder's car. So Holder and Lyndon are back together
actually
now.
Looking at the actual evidence.
They're doing their thing. So thank goodness.
They're gonna get
this is what we've been waiting for, is them to get back together and start working together, because
there better be some major league hugs, because that boy is hurting.
That boy is hurting. Wow.
Although I wouldn't want to hug that itchy, smelly wool sweater that's been rained on.
I bet he's got some smells going on too. Yeah.
Let me ponder that thought a moment. All right.
I got some smells going on. You want to ponder that?
No.
That's it.
No, because his are sad smells, and that makes a difference.
I think mine are kind of sad smells too. So let's end this.
Well, pathetic is different.
I can't wait to get into the next episode. Let's end this one, and then we can get on with this series, because I think the next one's going to be awesome.
It's going to be good.
Because they're back.
And now
together.
We're back. Okay, we're back. Okay, go ahead.
If you want to hear the past episodes of the Killing Podcast, go to our website, which is www.southgatemediagroup.com. You can also catch all of our other podcasts. We've got like 20 some in our stable right now about TV and pop culture, and Pinheads is our new Pinterest podcast. There's just a lot of stuff to explore there and listen to and enjoy. So hopefully you enjoy. You can find us on iTunes. Please subscribe there and rate us. 5 stars is always appreciated. And give us reviews, because that really helps. It doesn't just help us, but it helps other people that are fans of The Killing find this podcast. You know, it moves it up the rankings there, and that will make a big difference. So if you're a fan of The Killing, here's a way that you could share that with the community a little bit. You can follow me on iTunes at rsouthgate. You can also find on Twitter at rsouthgate. You can also
you have your own iTunes.
You can follow us, the company, at SMG Pods, which is the one that Martha seems to be using a lot more than me. I do mine, and then she does SMG Pods. And there we also post when new episodes hit and any news that we hear. Like when The Killing was picked up for a 4th season by Netflix, it went right out on Twitter. Stay in the know. That's how you do that. You can also listen to us on Stitcher.
That's implying that we know.
Yeah, right. Or tell us.
You are giving us a lot of credit.
Tell us and we'll retweet it.
Exactly.
Put us in the know.
You just put us in the know because we're clearly out of the loop.
That's right. That is it for this episode of the Killing Podcast. Until next time, I'm Rob Southgate.
I'm Martha Southgate.
And maybe next time we'll finally find out who killed Rosie Larson.
And hopefully a staph infection hasn't killed Darren from sticking a pin in his leg.